Well, Paul Chambers is not the only person to be prosecuted for a tweet as law enforcers worldwide try to establish the limits of online free speech. The UK authorities have prosecuted tweeters for racist abuse. Student Joshua Cryer was given 240 hours of unpaid community work for messages that he sent to the footballer Stan Collymore. The Chinese human rights activist Chen Jianping was sentenced to a year in a labour camp for a tweet which encouraged anti-Japanese protests, which she says was ironic. And in Saudi Arabia, the journalist Hamza Kashgari could face the death penalty for 3 tweets in which he imagined a conversation with the Prophet Muhammad. Well, I'm joined now in the studio by Robert Sharp. He's from the charity English Pen, which promotes freedom of expression. Clearly, in the particular case that Lawrence was talking about, that was clearly a joke that this chap sent out on Twitter. But there is a wider issue than this case, isn't there? Because should there be free rein for anybody on Twitter to say anything they want?
I think if people are genuinely inciting hatred or violence, then perhaps there is a line to draw. But we're not actually seeing that in the tweets and the messages that you mentioned. The Hamza Kashgari case in Saudi Arabia, he was writing a poem. Paul Chambers was telling a joke. And even the racist abuse that you mentioned isn't directly inciting violence. And so in those cases, I think we have to let people say what they want to say, even if it is a bit stupid or a bit unpleasant. Well,
one of Mr. Chambers' lawyers has said in court, there is a right enshrined for people to make jokes that others may regard as offensive. Now, clearly, the racist issue is very big here in the UK. Are you saying it is absolutely fine for a person to go out and say something about another person, a human being, that is regarded by the majority of people as racist, but they have the right to be able to have those opinions and to be able to say them?
They've certainly got the right to those opinions. It's the old adage of I hate what you say, but defend your right to say it. That works in reverse. You also say I defend your right to say something, and then there's a moral obligation on those of us who do find it offensive to stand up and say that those people are being offensive. We challenge them through our own free speech. We challenge them on Twitter. And that's usually a better way to deal with these idiots, these unpleasant people, these bigots, than going down the route of the law, because it does set this terrible precedent to other countries around the world. We've heard that China are now prosecuting people because of what they've said on social networks. During the Green Revolution and during the revolutions during the Arab Spring, the governments were trying to shut down Twitter, shut down social network chat, because in their eyes, in the government's eyes, they're saying, well, these people are terrorists, these people are destabilising the state. But
is there a difference to that than somebody who's being targeting one specific person with deliberately abusive views, whether or not that takes a comedic turn or not in their minds?
When you do get personal, when you're directing something very specific, when you're calling on a specific act of violence or hatred, that perhaps is where the line should be drawn. But actually, in all the cases that we've seen, we've not really seen that kind of unpleasantness. So I'm not sure we've seen many cases like that where there's a genuine incitement to violence, where someone is genuinely endangered by a racist comment. And if it is just generic racism, unfortunately, I think in an open society we have to let people have those views and challenge those views, not criminalise them, because then those views just go underground and become even more insidious.
It's a fascinating topic. We could discuss it for far longer than the couple of minutes we've got, but Robert Sharp, for the moment, thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
Now to Northern Ireland, where there's been a landmark meeting between Britain's Queen and Martin McGuinness.